We got a little bit of lag, huh? Hold on. We got a little bit of lag. We back. The game don't wait. I have to talk about some things. I told you, you're going to see a whole, we're going to be spending a lot of quality time together. See you later, sweetie, honey, sugar. Whoa, look what y'all done started. Yeah. Look what y'all. Let me get my man Hulk Bradley. He need that wrench. Hey, I'm getting to the point where I got a lot of shooters, but I'm gonna approve you for a moderator. Just be sparing. If you have questions, then don't block the people, because people keep coming to me saying they got. Yep, you got demolition, man. Exactly. I just rinsed you up, but we're getting to the point where we probably have too many shooters, because, you know, people are getting clapped for, like, people are afraid to speak and shit, bro. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So just be responsible. Damn, Edison Barboza got knocked out in the UFC in first round. Damn. Man, we gotta talk. Listen. We gotta talk, man. New media. I told you guys. You guys thought it was a game. I'm gonna show you how the boy work. You know, I like competition. It's great. It's great. Competition is an awesome thing. Amazing. So we gonna show you how we compete, how we work on this side. JJ, what's up? I gotta talk about some quick things, some quick thoughts. We gonna be spending a lot of quality time together. See you later, sweetie, honey, sugar. Listen, this is just a follow-up video because we petty like that. You know, call me Petty Hearn. I'm gonna be petty, and I'm gonna make sure I remind you, you know, because if I get something wrong, they can't wait to remind me. So every time new media gets right, I'm gonna be here. Especially, see, this is the thing. Old media, they say this radical stuff, you know, and I give you reason, I give you sound logic, rationale, the things that I'm saying. They don't. So now we're going to, every time they're wrong, and when they get it real wrong, I'm going to make it my point to show you so you see the difference. Like I said, that Chrysler 300, not a bad car. It's nice. Until you see that Phantom, that Rolls Royce, that Wraith right next to it. I'm going to help you spot the difference with this new media movement. We are the regime, the new conglomerate. All my conglomerati called Death Row. Death Row East, believe in it. Yeah, I'm going to be Petty Hearns. I'm on it, you know, which means I got to be sharp. But I really believe that the Lord, I believe that God has sent me here to use my platform and use my influence and my voice to eradicate my foes and put out a true message, a message that, you know, I could stand behind, that I really believe in my heart of all hearts, you know, just to use my voice for something great and influential in the right way. You know, old media, they, you know, there's people, listen, anybody that talks about me or someone else's money, you already know what that is. Jealousy is usually an indicator of insecurity. Ain't nobody making money worried about the next person's money like that. You know, how many super chats someone got and all that, pocket watching. When you see the real deal, that imitation don't look so good. Facts. So we got to talk about it. And I'm going to wait for a few more people to join. I want to get these quick thoughts off. Make sure you guys smash the like button. But I told you, I didn't even want to do this. But now, because I can, I'm going to do it. So everybody buckle up. You know, they said don't start a war unless I got my money right. Well, I got my money right. Now I want war. So we're going to keep showing. I'm going to keep showing you the difference between the job done by new media, you know, what we say. Like, I'm a man at the end of the day. I made a video, probably prematurely, based on what I seen regarding the Kubrat Pulev situation. But then more information came out, and I apologized. I apologized to Kubrat Pulev, said, hey, man, maybe I jumped the gun possibly because there's more to the story. It looks like, you know, you got the girl giving lap dances and stuff. And I'm like, oh, you sitting up here like lying because I'm going off of her testimony. And now her credibility is kind of damaged because it looked like she was, you know, possibly getting love in the club and kicking it with the people. So I don't know what went on, but I'm a man. So if you ever see me wrong, I have no problem being wrong. You know, I jumped the gun on the Kubrat Pulev situation. Everything. Well, I mean, I didn't fully jump the gun, but you know, I'll take that. I'll take that. You know, I jumped the gun in the sense of like, I still think he shouldn't have done that. You know, kissed her, but I did jump the gun because I said, you know, it looked like he lying with what he put on Twitter, but now maybe he's not lying with what he put on Twitter. So I don't really take back anything, and I don't take back what I said about Kubrat Pulev. Whether you're cool with her, whether you slept with her, whether you were on terms with her, I still don't think you should kiss her in the middle of an interview and she's like, Jesus Christ, you know, that could be embarrassing. This is her profession. So I still feel the same way, but the situation got a whole lot messier. But I did say, oh, Kubrat Pulev, it looks like you're lying on Twitter, you know. So as a man, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Fast forward to the future, old media is looking shaky because this is what they don't do. So I like that. I'm gonna let that pride eat them alive, because that's the great thing with old media versus new media. We can admit fault. We can admit, like, you know, if I get a fight prediction wrong, I have no problem doing that. That's cool. But they can't, because they talk crazy. They say radical shit. So when they're wrong, you know, they'll try to double down, and that hurts you. That hurts you even more. You know, talking about Mikey Garcia will beat Errol Spence, and then this is what old media would do. They'll try to double down. Oh, you know, Mikey was so tiny and little, he beat a featherweight. Nah, man. You said Mikey was going to beat him. So that makes you look worse. So let's talk about it. I'm going to get to the DAZN thing in a minute. But if you mess with the channel hardcore, like hard body, like you consider yourself to be a regular or whatnot, let me know in the comment section. Say me, I, yes, hell yes, anything like that. Like you try your best to, you know, follow the channel, especially namely the live streams. Cause I'm gonna be on some Roy Jones shit. Y'all must have forgot, right? Because something just happened right now in boxing, and we just got to revisit it. Like I said, remember what I said then and now, and then we'll see, you know, the old media way versus the new media way. Okay, so we got a couple of people. We don't even have that all too many people in the chat, but there's some A1s from day ones. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for the support. Who was on the live stream that I did recently, and I was talking about Tyson Fury fighting Tom Schwarza or whatever, Schwartz, and I was saying how a little bit of clever matchmaking, you can pick somebody who happens to be ranked in a sanctioning body or two, but they really haven't been tried and tested within a world level. And I even used the name from Spain, Kerman Lejarraga or whatever his name is, right? And I said, for example, I pulled it up on the screen. I said Kerman Lejarraga of Spain, you know, he's like a Tom Schwartz. This is literally what I said, new media shit. I said Kerman Lejarraga, he's like a Tom Schwartz in the sense that he was ranked in at least 2 of the 4 sanctioning bodies, and you know, he has a record. He had a record like 27-0, right? So this is how the promoters, they do stuff. They'll pick him, you know, knowing he has no chance versus Terrence Crawford. Who remembers that video? It wasn't long. It's just since the Tyson Fury Tom Schwartz fight. Who remembers that? Who remembers Kerman Lejarraga conversation on my live stream? Anybody? Like I said, I really feel God has put me here to use my platform and my voice. No cap. Vidal Pierce says, I just watched that live stream recently. Right? So, just to recap what I said, I'm going to say it again. I was talking about how Tyson Fury, he said, yep, you don't lie, bro. I was talking about how Tyson Fury, they're billing this guy, Tom Schwartz, because he's 6'6", right? And he happens to be ranked highly in one sanctioning body, and he's ranked within another. And they're basically using it like he has a chance, like a major chance, or like that's a rightful fight because he's tall and big and ranked. And I literally said Kerman Lejarraga happens to be ranked. I found this, someone at welterweight who hasn't fought world competition. And I said, yeah, like, look at this dude. Kerman Lejarraga, he hasn't really had any huge wins, right? He hasn't had any huge wins. And he happens to be ranked. And I told you, I said, so I'm not really concerned with rankings because some people, they're ranked, but we don't know how they got their ranking and stuff. Right? Guess what? David Evanesian just stopped Kerman Lejarraga. So once again, what I said is accurate. Kerman Lejarraga, who was ranked like #1 or who was the highest ranking with the IBF, he just got upset and stopped. Just today against David Evanesian. Now, David Evanesian beat Sugar Shane Mosley, but he was like an older, it wasn't the same Shane Mosley. But then he lost to Lamont Peterson, who just got beat by Sergey Lipinets, So David Evanesian is not really a person that we would consider to be, like a major player. He lost to Lamont Peterson, and he got knocked out by Mean Machine. You know what I'm saying? And he just coming off of a knockout loss to Aegis Cliverless Mean Machine or whatever from Lithuania. He just beat Kerman Lejarraga. He just beat him. The same guy we were talking about. Now I'm going to go even deeper. Do you remember I brought up Kerman Lejarraga and there was like a fan who was like an old media type fan saying some bullshit. And he was claiming, just tell me if you guys remember this stream or when you watch the replay, leave a comment. There was some fan and he's like, I live in Spain and Kerman Lejarraga sells 8,000 seats and, he's a big star. This is what the guy was telling me. This is just on a recent stream. I had to find out what stream it was, but I know it was the one we were talking about Tyson Fury. Mean Machine's fighting right now in Philly. All right, I'm gonna check it. This is not gonna be too long because I want to check I'm gonna check some of these fights or whatever. But the guy from Spain was just telling me, he's like, oh, Kerman Lejarraga is a big star, and I was like, so you think he's a worldwide global star? See, Hulk Bradley, thank you, a regular and a channel member. Thank you for your monthly subscription, helping the channel. He said, I remember that stream. Now look at him. Bro, this is what new media is known for. We're catching so many bodies. He was like, yeah, Kerman Lejarraga, he's a big star. I was like, so you really think he's a big star in America? And you really think he's at world level? And the guy, yeah, man. And he was like, yeah, in Spain he sells out. Okay. Well, he just took a career setback because he just lost to David Evanesian, the guy Lamont Peterson beat and Mean Machine knocked out. The old media can't beat us. I'm trying to tell you, they can't beat us. We know they're lying. Now, using that example, it leads me into Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. I just put out it was like a lengthy video, like 20 minutes, talking about the Crawford Spence. To me, Crawford and Spence are the top guys at welterweight. That's how I see it in terms of overall everything, skill, projection, gut feeling, what I've seen. They're 1A and 1B. Of course, I want to see the fight. But a lot of people are trying to rush the fight in terms of like thinking it's going to happen now. I don't see it happening. for a variety of reasons. And I've been killing, so my voice actually hurts because I've been doing longer streams and stuff. So I'm not gonna keep this long because I've been like, you know, just destroying old media. So I'm gonna watch these fights. But the thing is, Top Rank is in a pickle. They have someone as good as Terrence Crawford. He's about to fight one of his bigger names in Amir Khan. He's the favorite. Khan is not necessarily the most durable guy, but I like the fight stylistically because I know Khan can box, and he's maybe a half inch taller than Crawford, and he brings a different style of fight, and he's undefeated at welterweight. So I personally don't have a problem with Amir Khan and Terrence Crawford. You know, I think it's solid. And Khan was available, whereas Danny Garcia's with Granados. We knew Spence was fighting Mikey. Keith Thurman was doing a comeback. He wasn't going to fight Crawford his first fight after a 2-year layoff, right? But Top Rank's in a pickle. People are like trying to put pressure on PBC, and I think that's what Bob Arum wants people to do, because they don't really have the names for Crawford. He's too good. They don't have the name, so Crawford's going to end up having to work with other promoters, you know, or he's going to have to end up fighting guys like Mean Machine, you know, fighting guys like Jose Benavidez too, a guy he already beat. And that's the reality of it. And, you know, Crawford, he liked Top Rank, the way they treated his career. He re-upped his contract with them, so this is part of the problem. The cold sore, I'm thinking of herpes and shit. The Cold War, that's a reality. You know, the fact that people, if and when possible, often will do the in-house, I collect all the money, my fighter wins and stays on the network, we reap all the benefit. Most people do that, including Top Rank. Top Rank has made a whole career of making in-house fights, you know? So, to me, Bob Arum has publicly made such a heavy push. To me, I don't really buy it like that. Like some people are like, oh yeah. Now, like you're not gonna turn nothing on me. I like Crawford and I like Spence. So mark my words, listen carefully, because like I said, my throat hurts. I'm not gonna go over this all day. I like both of them. I just told you they're the top 1A, 1B at welterweight. But the thing that I'm saying makes absolutely all the sense in the world. Do I doubt if given the opportunity, or if it was up to Terrence Crawford, he would fight Spence? Absolutely not. I think he would fight him right now, tomorrow, whatever. Spence, if it was his way, I don't think he's ducking no fade. He would take the Crawford fight. No questions asked. That's why we like them, because they're similar in that regard. But Top Rank is making such a popular push, you know, public push to not fight just any PBC guy, but only Errol Spence. So to me, I feel like that's is coming across as a little bit forced, because there's other PBC guys that are good and you just keep mentioning Spence. So it's like almost like, you know, you don't have really fighters for Crawford to fight, so you're already planting the seed to justify Crawford, if he gets past like Khan, having to fight Mean Machine. So you could easily say, Arum doesn't protect black fighters' ego. I agree with that with Top Rank. You notice, and this is what I'm saying, like Lomachenko, he's fighting Anthony Corolla, you know, he's fighting Pedraza, who recently moved up to the division, the 140, and became a champion through Ray Beltran. You know what I'm saying? Versus Tim Bradley had to fight Pacquiao 3 times. Who fights Pacquiao 3 times and wins some of them, you know, and doesn't get knocked out and shit? You know, Bradley had to fight tough fights. Diego Chavez and Brandon Rios could have been a tough fight. Ruslan Provodnikov obviously was a tough fight. So I get that. I get what you're saying. But what I'm saying is they don't have anyone for Terrence Crawford. So I think they're making such a huge like fuss and public push, because they know that. So they're already setting the stage. So they have a patsy. So they could easily, they being Bob Arum, Top Rank, so they could easily say, oh, we tried to make the Errol Spence fight, but Al Heyman doesn't want to work with us. But knowing if if Bob Arum, if the roles were reversed, historically speaking, and Top Rank had all of the welterweights, all of them that PBC has, who really believes that Arum would be reaching out to, like, let's say Errol Spence was the only guy on PBC. Listen to me carefully. This is not about the fighters. I love Crawford. I love Spence. This is business. This is politics. Let's vote. If everyone that is a welterweight on PBC right now was signed with Top Rank except Errol Spence. Errol Spence was the only person, Errol Spence Jr. was the only person over with Al Heyman on PBC who really believes that before. So let me set the stage again. If Top Rank currently had all of PBC's welterweights minus Errol Spence Jr., who really believes that Bob Arum's next directive for one of his top welterweights like Terrence Crawford would be the one sole Lone Ranger guy, Errol Spence Jr. on PBC, as opposed to Terrence Crawford, Mikey, Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia, Terrence Crawford versus Berto, Lamont Peterson, you know, Sergey Lipin, etc. Who believes that? You guys have to understand business. I don't know if y'all can hear me or what. Y'all got to say something. I'll end this stream right now. Because I could be watching the fights. If y'all all of a sudden mute and stuff, y'all got to type. You know, I know some people at the gym and running miles and shit, but y'all got to type something, you know. Shout out to Hulk Bradley. Shout out to Eric. Shout out, exactly. Arum wouldn't do it. He'd have every fight in house. That's what I'm saying. So once again, because, you know, for some people, maybe because Al Heyman is a black advisor, not even a promoter, you know, it's like he's under different scrutiny. People want to say he's the cancer of boxing, and he's a ghost, and, you know, he's ruining. But historically speaking, Al Heyman has more so than other guys worked with other people and sent people. He sent Amir Khan to get slaughtered by Canelo on HBO. He didn't hold Khan back. Khan was with him at the time. He let Danny Jacobs fight, you know, who was supposed to be a monster with a 21 knockout in a row streak, Triple G on HBO. He let John Molina get a Terrence Crawford fight, you know, on a Top Rank card. He let Felix Diaz, an Olympic, not undefeated because he had the Peterson loss, but he let an Olympian go fight Crawford and get destroyed on Top Rank's card. So we know that's not the case, you know. And he let certain fighters, you know, Brandon Rios and Jesse Vargas, he didn't advise against them signing with DAZN. So we know that's not the case. But for whatever reason, you know, maybe because he's a black man in America, who knows? You know, they want to paint Al Heyman as this monger of hate, like he's not letting someone. But we know in our heart of all hearts, if the roles were reversed and Bob Arum had this talent pool of all these quality welterweight fights, right, he wouldn't do anything different. I mean, look at DAZN. It's a similar picture. DAZN got all the middleweights minus Charlo. Why are none of them fighting Charlo next? You know, so a lot of y'all not fucking with me. That's what it is, you know. So what's the difference? Charlo's the Lone Ranger on PBC, you know, the good fighter at middleweight, and all the other middleweights are on DAZN. How come DAZN, even though the WBC ordered Charlo to get a Golovkin shot, winner gets Canelo, how come DAZN didn't, you know, they talking about Triple G, Handall guys, and Brandon Adams? Because this is what promoters do, and this is what businesses do. You know, if you can facilitate it in-house majority of the time, that's what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Majority of the time. Like I said, who's fighting Charlo? Triple G versus Charlo would be a great fight. Andre versus Charlo would be a great fight. But DAZN got Andre fighting Mad Selesky, and they got Triple G not fighting Charlo, even though he was ordered to fight. So how's that any different than, you know, Errol Spence probably going after Sean Porter next, you know, Pacquiao probably going after another PBC fighter like Keith Thurman next, etc. What's the difference? But like I said, Top Rank, they know it's not going to happen next. They know that they don't really have any options. So now they have to justify Crawford, if he gets past Khan, fighting Jose Benavidez too, fighting someone who just happens to be ranked but he's unheralded, fighting Mean Machine. So it's like they've been in the business, so they already like kind of prepping people, so people could just say, "Oh, Errol Spence ducked." You know, that's not true though. You know, because if that's the case, then why is no one saying Triple G ducked fighting Charlo when he was ordered to fight Charlo? You know, business is business. DAZN's trying to get Charlo on their app. They're not trying to work with Showtime or Fox to do a joint venture. So what we talking about? You could look up and down Top Rank in the last 10 years. They've done the same thing. How come, bro? This is new media. It's a new day. It's a new dawn in this boxing game. You know, and if I'm wrong, fine. But you're going to have to prove that. Top Rank in the last 10 years, they did several in-house fights. You know, Pacquiao kept fighting Bradley. I didn't want to see him keep fighting Bradley. I thought he won the first fight. You know, I thought Pacquiao won the first fight. Then he already beat him in the second fight. Pacquiao wasn't working with Aaron. With Heyman. Why didn't Pacquiao fight Broner at that time when Broner was undefeated? Why didn't Pacquiao fight Danny Garcia when he was undefeated? Why didn't Pacquiao? He was fighting Brandon Rios and Chris Algieri, guys that had already worked with Top Rank or were Top Rank fighters. Jesse Vargas. So how is this any different? You know, but now everyone's trying to rush the sauce. You know, it's like trying to bake a cake. Crawford Spence is big business, is a big fight. But now everyone wants to keep opening the cake. Your cake, you know, is not going to rise. The cake is not going to rise. You keep opening and letting the heat out and stuff. Block Shy Money. That's what's up. Block Shy Money. That's what's up. Yeah, Shy Money. Block him. Shooters. Hulk Bradley, you could try for your first. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, so, you know, stop it. Stop this narrative that like Errol Spence and Al Heyman are like preventing the fight. Bomb Arum, if given, he makes the in-house fights too. Like I said, if I'm lying, how come Pacquiao didn't fight any of those Heyman guys? And then when Pacquiao leaves Top Rank, his first fight is with Broner. But some way, somehow, you know, there were only talks about Broner and Garcia got offered a certain amount of money, but nothing happened. Nothing manifested on Top Rank, you know. See, Mir, he was there. Thank you. He just co-signed. He said, "Hey, Ego, where's that bum that said?" This is why Ego Army got me, bro. He said, "Where's that bum who said that Kerman Lejarraga was a star?" I just talked about that before you came in. That's what I'm saying. New media, we kill it. This dude really tried to tell us that Kerman Lejarraga was a star because he sells out allegedly 8,000 seats in Spain, and he was like, he was trying to say he's world-class quality. He just got stopped by a guy who Lamont Peterson beat, and Peterson didn't even get past Sergey Lipinets, who lost to Mikey Garcia, and that was Lipinets' first fight at 47. These dudes are getting destroyed, bro. I told you, he was trying to say Kerman Lejarraga because he was ranked, was that dude. I told you I can do this, and then you see it. Find someone who's ranked that has no chance. Kerman, and remember, Mir, tell me I'm lying. I literally said, so there. I only checked 2 sanctioning bodies. This Kerman Lejarraga name was on 2 of them out of the 4. And I said, do you really think Terrence Crawford would lose to him? You know, and then people, oh, he's undefeated though. And I'm like, do you really think Crawford would lose to Kerman Lejarraga? You never know, you know, playing games and shit, that old media shit. Okay, let me tell you, if you can't beat David Avanesian, then you're not beating Crawford. Stop it. So once again, I told you, new media, now I'm Petty Hearns. I'm going out of my way to show you, and it's going to damage all credibility. So, you know, I try to warn them. All that radical shit y'all be talking about, that's cool. Keep it up, and we going to see. You know, because, oh, Mikey's stronger than Errol. Okay, what happened to that? The fans ain't dumb. Fans ain't going to just see you get everything wrong and then start super chatting you. I told you, I try to give people, as an OG on this platform, I try to give people the game. They didn't want to listen. All right, I got you. So now we're going to make it apparent. I can't change how people do or conduct their channel, and I'm not here to do that. But like I said, we can shine that light on the roaches and make them scatter. You know, if we can step on some, we're gonna do it. It's just like a zombie apocalypse. You're not gonna be able to stop every zombie, but you know, we're gonna get a couple of them. You know, as long as we ward them off, then we good. New media is destroying y'all. Anyway, Crawford, he's just in Top Rank. They're in a predicament because they don't have welterweights for him. This is no longer the days where Top Rank had Pacquiao, Tim Bradley, Ruslan Provodnikov, Jesse Vargas, Brandon Rios, Mike Alvarado, and they're all doing well. So, you know, who you got, Ryan Garcia or Lopez? I don't even know who Jose Lopez is like that. So I can't, I don't really do fight predictions unless I'm versed with both people. That's just not my style. So I'll just try to check it out, but I don't know much about his opponent like that. See, I'm honest. Some people would just guess, oh, Ryan Garcia. Like, I don't know anything about his opponent like that. But anyway, the Crawford Spence fight, I'm not saying I don't want it, but I'm just letting you know this is the politics. And again, people are going to try to flip it on Al Heyman, you know, because he's black or whatever, and make it look like he's the problem. But all these promoters would make the in-house buck before they do. And the other thing, like I said in the 20-minute video, right? Like I said in that video, is block Steve. Like I said in that video, PBC, they're aligning Errol Spence with popularity, with fame, with the attempt at unifications, you know, and they're going to keep, because they have it like that. They got all of the people. Do you get what I'm saying? Right? They got all the people. So, like I said, whether you respect this tactic or strategy or whatever, you know, whether you respect it or not, Spence has more of an angle to become a household name. I'm not saying Crawford's not skilled, because we all know that, but his side doesn't have the top stars and the top name. Like, I've said this for a while now. How can you be mad because you don't like Sean Porter's style because you thought you guys beat him if Sean Porter fights Errol Spence next? Hey, Bilal, you didn't have to block that guy. Hey, shoot, listen, I'm about to take, I'm getting to the point I'm about to take every shooter's badge, bro. Like, everybody. You know, it's like, you know, we'll just start it by scratch. Like, listen, like, this is like the final warning, bro. Everybody is getting clapped for, like, it's getting crazy, bro. Like, I don't care. Let them say the dumb shit, you know. People are, is getting ridiculous. Like, it's like, and the reason it's getting ridiculous, like I said, is you guys are, some of the shooters, it's very simple. If these people are trolling, they're not going to stop. So if someone leaves a comment, you know, I'm taking everyone's badge. Like, really, it's too distracting that people don't follow. Listen, I've been doing this at a high level, bro. I only delete it. We don't delete comments, bro. I just gave you the you know, I just gave you the access. I don't want to see people's comments deleted. We don't have to do that. I don't care. Let them leave the comment. You know, let them leave it. The thing is, follow my lead, or shooters, we're going to start from scratch, and I'm taking everybody's shit. Real talk. This is getting like, people is going crazy. It's very simple. I have tough skin. I've been doing this for years. These motherfuckers ain't going to do nothing. They're not going to say nothing that I haven't heard already. If someone leaves a comment, unless it's like obvious troll behavior, you know, you don't have to clap them within 2 seconds. You know, you don't have to clap them within 2 seconds. That's cool. Let them say the bullshit. And if they keep doing it's a recurrent issue, then they become a problem. But you guys are, the dude said, he said, I love you. And like, we don't know what he was talking about. Like, he might have just been showing love to the channel. You get what I'm saying? Like, he might have really not been a troll. Like, just been like, oh, man, I love what you're doing for boxing. And y'all clapping him and deleting. Y'all got to stop, bro. For real. Like, we just start from scratch. I'm telling you, man, all the shooters, it's just too distracting because you guys are just clapping everything within seconds. I don't know if it's fun, like, you know, is that keeps you guys focused on it, but, bro, y'all got to chill, bro. Just let them say whatever, you know, or, you know, I have to start calling out the hits or something, bro, but you guys got to get it. See, that's what I'm saying. Big Zo said trigger happy. I know, and everyone's pulling the trigger too fast. That's the problem. So if I have a couple shooters and everyone's pulling the trigger fast, then, you know, people are afraid to comment and shit, bro. That's not what this is about. And this is not to any one person. I'm just saying to all of them. This is not for any one shooter. This is for everybody. Y'all got to chill. Like, we know who's the real distraction. I mean, you should know the formula by now because most of the people watch the channel and stuff like that. So, you know, it's getting to that point. You know, people are, it's like abusing. Like, it's like cops robbing the drug dealers and shit like that. That's not what you in it for. That's not what you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just got to chill. Anyway, this whole, because like I said, I'm trying to talk about this Crawford Spence thing, and I just keep seeing people get blasted off for no reason. Like, come on, man. Anywho, the Crawford thing would, I don't think Top Rank, if they had more, well, if Bob Arum had all the welterweights minus Spence, I don't see Crawford, you know, I don't think Bob Arum would be doing this major public push to fight the one lone PBC guy who happens to not be signed with Top Rank. Period. You know, you guys can say whatever you want, but again, how come DAZN, a new company, why is Triple G fighting Brandon Adams instead of who the WBC? You know, Charlo is the odd man out. He's the guy that's on PBC, and a lot of top other middleweights are with DAZN. So why did they make Canelo Jacobs? Why didn't they make Canelo Charlo? Jacobs versus Charlo. Andre versus Charlo. Triple G versus Charlo. You know why? Because they have all the middleweights. They don't have to. So what's the difference? You know? So, again, I want to see the best versus the best. But to me, PBC is aligning it. So Spence is a definite A side. That's what they're attempting to do. That's what I think. And again, they have the fights to justify that. Yes, you get, okay, first of all, I've already went over this, so it's like, I really feel like I'm wasting my breath, you know? And if you disagree, please explain what you disagree with, period. Spence has big name, people that can bring him to household name status more so than Terrence Crawford in-house. Some of them are good fights that fans wouldn't mind watching for free on Fox or Showtime, you know, premium Showtime, or paying for that, or they could get away with charging pay-per-view, you know, like Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. That's a unification. How can you be mad at that? You can say whatever you want. Oh, you guys beat Sean Porter. I hate Sean Porter's style. Just because you think Crawford is a better style matchup, you can't take away the fact that Sean Porter has more welterweight fights and more welterweight big name wins than Terrence Crawford. Now, I think personally, intuition, gut feeling, Crawford is probably the most difficult fight for Errol Spence, vice versa. That's what I think. But Sean Porter is still a good fighter. It's a different style of fight. He has a belt just like Crawford, and he has more welterweight experience and names. So you can't, he fought you guys, right? He fought Keith Thurman, and they were booing Keith Thurman after at the Barclays because some people thought he won that fight. He fought Kell Brook. He hurt and knocked down Devin Alexander when Devin Alexander was champion, right? He fought Danny Garcia and beat him. He fought Adrian Granados, who Danny Garcia is now fighting, you know? So Sean Porter, whether you like his style, whether you like him, whether you say he can't sell a TV dinner or a kitchen dinner or whatever, he's still a belt holder, and he's an in-house fight that's easy to make, It's still a unification. And again, Sean Porter beat Broner 11 rounds to 1. He has the name. He beat Danny Garcia in the close fight. You know, he lost a close fight to Keith Thurman. So you can't get mad at PBC. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but it doesn't make sense to me to bash a unification when a guy has a better resume at that weight. How can you? So somebody tell me at welterweight, not what you think is a better fight, but on paper, you know, who has the better wins at welter? We know the answer. And I'm not getting into semantics like Amir Khan just did to TMZ. Oh, if Terrence Crawford fought all of Sean Porter's opponents, he would beat him and stuff. You know, maybe, who knows? But the fact is that hasn't happened. So I want to deal with more reality. Porter beat one opponent with an armbar. That was corny. What else? What else y'all got? You know, he knocked out Berto. You know, he beat Granados in a eliminator. So how can you badmouth, you know, if Errol Spence fights Sean Porter and criticize, oh, it's bullshit, but he has all them wins or all of those just big name fights at that division? It doesn't make sense. Plus, if Errol Spence fights Sean Porter and he beats him, then he unifies. So he's like Thanos. He starts collecting infinity rings. You know, Pacquiao has some version of a belt. He might fight Keith Thurman. That'll be like Danny Jacobs versus Triple G, super champion versus regular champion. If Keith Thurman fights Pacquiao, I want to put up my WBA my belt versus one time, you know, then that'll be a consolidation fight. So if Earl just beat Mike Garcia, he gets the clout for dominating the way he did. Then he fights and unifies with Sean Porter. And then if Pacquiao fights Thurman, and then after that point, the winner of Pacquiao-Thurman fights Errol Spence, then guess what? The winner of that fight will have the chance at the IBF, they'll have the chance at the WBC, and they'll have the chance at the newly consolidated WBA. So, again, Errol Spence, based on the side he's on and his skill set and his team and the structure and the infrastructure, he has the ability to line them up and build his brand, collect all the belts, and be able to bring that to the table when he does fight Terrence Crawford and be like, yo, you know I'm getting more money than you, right? You know, from a business perspective, despite if you think this is right or wrong, from a business perspective, he can now, how can you say this is the same thing that fans said Wilder don't deserve 50-50 worth Joshua or versus Joshua? It will be like the same thing. Part of it is because Joshua's popularity, and then the other part is because Joshua has all these belts. So that becomes his saving grace. He could be like, despite if you think Wilder beats Joshua, this is the same type of politics. Spence has an opportunity to be Mr. Man Down, Mr. Line him up, and go through all the PBC guys and rack up popularity, put on potential good performances. You know, if he fights Pacquiao, you know, if you could beat him, you're beating a Hall of Famer, right? And collect the belts. So when you do fight Terrence Crawford, you could be like, man, you got to come to my network. Or I'm getting 50, you know, I'm getting the lion's share. Simple business, people. And based on Bob Arum and Top Rank's past dealings, I don't know that they would do anything different. And if you think they would do something different because they're now publicly, radically calling out Errol Spence, not, oh, we like, this is why I think it's a patsy. They're trying to set up, okay. Man, this shit is annoying, bro, because I feel like I'm repeating myself and saying the same thing over and over. This is why I think it's a patsy. Because why are you so fixated on Errol Spence only? Even if he didn't fight Errol Spence, there's still better fights for Terrence Crawford inner working with Al Heyman. Why is the focus just on Errol? If you're really serious about, working with Al Heyman, why not test it out with one of these other Al Heyman fighters? You get what I'm saying? Like, let's say Danny Garcia beats Adrian Granados. Okay, he gets a win in the column. What about Al Heyman, work with him on Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia? I would support that. What about, Sean Porter versus Terrence Crawford? I would support that. Do you get what I'm saying? But when it's like, to me, that's why it feels like a forced narrative. It feels like a forced narrative because every time Bob Arum or Top Rank talks about it and leaves a tweet, Bob Arum is leaving tweets about fighting only Errol. But even if he doesn't fight Errol, there's still great fights for him. Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. Those are all better than in-house fights. So if Top Rank was really serious about working with Al Heyman, then why not make one of these lesser fights? Like, it doesn't have to be Errol Spence. That could be the biggest fight, right? That could be the biggest fight. But I would fully, if Crawford gets past Khan, I would fully support Crawford versus Danny Garcia. If Block Mama Nur, see, this is that hating shit. This is that hacking shit. Every time I want to talk, they come with the hacking shit. Now that's someone you shooters have fun clapping. Thank you. If you guys see stuff like that, that's what the shooter should be clapping. That's like obviously somebody soliciting and a robot or bot or some shit, That's why, to me, I feel like it's Top Rank and it's kind of a forced narrative because it's not. Why is it Errol Spence or bust? Obviously that's the biggest fight, but why is it just Errol Spence when there's still credible other big name fights that would more so help Crawford and his development and his brand, even outside of Errol Spence, but Bob Arum has publicly told you Errol Spence is the only guy we're looking at. We don't want to fight Garcia and Porter. What? I would even want to see Mikey Garcia versus Terrence Crawford more than Mean Machine and Terrence Crawford or some shit. You get what I'm saying? So I don't really buy that. I don't really buy that. And like I said, business-wise, it's no different. DAZN got all the middleweights. They're not including Charlo. If anything, they want Charlo to go over there. So this is just simple business. This is just simple business, I'd rather see Crawford versus you guys. Wow, somebody just said it. Same thing. Exactly. I'd rather see Crawford versus you guys. That's what I'm saying. So if you really are serious, you can make those fights too. It doesn't have to be like, but it's like that. When someone has to try so hard, then it seems a little bit forced to me. You get what I'm saying? Crawford versus Keith Thurman. I mean, these are all great fights. That's what I'm saying. You're just focusing only on him. I'd rather see Berto versus Crawford, than a guy that just had, Kerman, Lejarraga, or David Evanesian or something. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's the reality of it. So if Bob Arum was really serious about working with Al Heyman, then he can work together. It doesn't have to be Errol Spence or bust. It could be Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. I mean, Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia, Period. So that's the same thing I've been saying. Like, again, this is not even about the fighters. I think Crawford would fight Spence, vice versa. Spence would fight Crawford. But there's no company that I know that I've seen historically that, doesn't do the in-house fights when they can. Period. Oh yeah, and on top of that, PBC, Al Heyman got Maidana again. So Spence got options. He got all the options. Terrence Crawford at Top Rank, they don't have all the options. Even Crawford versus Maidana. See, that's what I'm saying. Let Maidana get a couple tune-ups or whatever, fight Phil LaGreca or whoever the fuck he fights, and let him come back, get a couple in, and then fight Terrence Crawford. I would watch that. Maidana versus, if he comes back in shape and he looks like, any semblance of the old Chino, I would watch that. That's what I'm saying. So if Bob Arum is like acting so gung-ho for Errol Spence, but he's not willing to pull the trigger on any of these other fights, which are still good fights, may not be as big as Crawford versus Spence, then I can't believe that. I can't believe what you're saying, because those are still better fights. So if you revert back to the in-house fight, when you could still fight Danny Garcia if he comes off of a strong win versus Adrian Granados, You know, Crawford, Broner. That's what I'm saying. Crawford, Maidana, all these. Those are all. So that's the fact that Top Rank is steadily only talking about Errol Spence. That actually hinders them. And that makes me believe that not Crawford, but his team, you know, Bob Arum and stuff, aren't necessarily being sincere about working with Al Heyman. Because why would you revert to an in-house fight with Mean Machine when you could fight Chino and Crawford, or Porter and Crawford, or something that's better, even if it's not Errol Spence? Somebody answer that. Ray Robinson lost. Oh, he got a draw. Damn, you really think he beat the Mean Machine? See, okay, listen. This is somebody, I didn't watch the fight because I'm on here, obviously. Okay, so one of Eagles Army, Deion Washington, is saying he just watched Ray Robinson versus Aegis Mean Machine, or whatever his name is, Cavalophagus. You know, they raved about him and they raved about his power. Ray Robinson got stopped by Ugas. Ugas, you know, arguably beat Sean Porter, but he lost. Right? So if that's the perception, then if, let's say Crawford goes in there and destroys Amir Khan, you know, Khan's chin can't handle it, right? Boom. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to make Mean Machine, who's coming off of a draw, a majority draw that some people thought, a lot of people may think he lost. You know, I'm just going off of Deion's comments, you know? See, that's what I'm saying. That's not a big fight for Crawford now. If Mean Machine had a strong performance and knocked out Ray Robinson, then that's a better look. But if he's coming off of a controversial, like my man Deion Washington is saying, if he's coming off of a controversial a draw or whatever, where he really lost, and then they make that the next Crawford fight, then that's, you know, that doesn't help Crawford. Similarly, David Avanesian upset Kerman Lejarraga. Kerman Lejarraga was also a high-ranked in a couple sanctioning bodies guy at welterweight. So now that fight's pretty much off the table. Who wants to see Crawford versus Lejarraga, and he's coming off a loss to David Avanesian? Once again, Top Rank don't have the welterweights to make the best fights. So, and Crawford's too good. So this is why they're in a conundrum. This is why they're calling out Errol Spence, so they can, you know, have a built-in patsy as to why we have to watch, you know, maybe a Terrence Crawford, Jose Benavidez rematch or something else that people might not want to be watching. And like I said, if I'm wrong, then why is it only Errol Spence? Why is Arum only talking about Crawford Spence? Hyping the fans up over that, that's cool. But there's still some really good fights for Crawford with other PBC guys. So, in my opinion, they still got to make, you know, if you can't get Spence next.
That'll be capped in April by Terrence Bud Crawford, who joins us next.
Crazy timing. It's crazy timing that I'm talking about it, and then I just turned it on. Yeah, if you guys want to get on ESPN Plus, there's a 7-day free trial, link in the description. If you use my link, it helps the channel. They're finally advertising Amir Khan fight. That's the only, see,
There's a place.
I think they should have did, hold on. I'm not mad at the Crawford Khan fight, but I think they should have did more than a picture video. You feel what I'm saying? The promotion has been lacking, and you did a black and white picture video to promote a pay-per-view. You know, I think they could have had stronger. Somebody said I pluck my eyebrows too. Y'all weird, bro. I don't pluck my shit. Y'all, these dudes be weird, bro. And I'm like, how they say eyebrow? You can barely even see my eyebrow. I just seen out the corner. I just remember. The motherfucker said I pluck my eyebrows. No, I don't, bro. Y'all are weirdos. Anyway, the bottom line is Crawford signed to Top Rank. He's very good. He doesn't have the contemporaries that even remotely begin to, you know, justify or sell like crazy numbers. Like, you could put, I went to Frisco at the Star. just, you know, I don't know, bro. Al Heyman's playing chess. You guys can say whatever the fuck you want. Like, I'm really just getting tired of even talking about it because I know what I'm saying and I know I'm right. Because if I'm not right, then prove it wrong. Al Heyman is playing chess. I covered Errol Spence versus mandatory Carlos Ocampo. There were 14,000 people at Frisco at the Star. I don't know what type of crowds Spence would be able to bring to AT&T. You know, 2 African-American fighters, because there are a lot of Mexican, Hispanic fans in Texas that, you know, Mikey, he had a good presence with his crowd. So I don't know. I don't think they would put that in AT&T Stadium. I could be wrong. But even at Frisco at the Star, they have 15,000 people for Carlos Ocampo. So you could put Sean Porter at the Frisco at the Star. And if Ocampo did, who, you know, it's not like Mikey Garcia, like everyone know who Ocampo was. So Sean Porter Crawford fight would do well there. So, you know, this all helps this all helps Spence's meteoric rise to fame. And I think that's what Al Heyman is doing. Plus, listen, I don't have no problem with none of these promoters. They've all treated me well, you know, for the most part. You know, like, I'm just telling y'all the business. Al Heyman is an advisor. He's not even a promoter. He's aligning his guys for greatness. That's why you see Errol Spence opening his own gym, boxing gym. That's why you see Errol Spence with Man Down Promotions. Terrence Crawford, I'm not sure if he has a promotional company, you know. And Errol Spence he's becoming business savvy. He has a chance to grow, and his people, his team are putting him in that conversation to do great things, not only in the sport, but also business-wise. Man Down Promotion. He actually has some fighters. Triple G has his own promotion. I can actually tell you some of the people that are on Man Down Promotions. I can't tell you anyone who signed a Triple G promotion, and DAZN gave Triple G Promotions some fight dates. You know, they're allowing him to have some fight. I don't even know who signed the Triple G Promotions. And Triple G's 37. Looks like he's like, you know. Okay, here's another promo.
Pound for pound king of the sport, Terrence Crawford is the type of complete package in a fighter that comes along once in a generation. But his opponent on April 20th, a mere
I like this narrator's voice. He got the voice for it.
Stars, possessed of his own lethal combination, speed and power. For Khan, this is a legacy fight. A chance to etch his name in boxing history. But it's a tall order. To analyze Crawford's game for weaknesses quickly leads to a frightening conclusion. He doesn't have any weaknesses.
Crawford a dog, man. Yeah.
Amir Khan's gonna come straight with his shot. Crawford's never faced a fighter like Amir Khan.
They're in the same gym.
I've never been outboxed. I've never been outskilled. Let's see if Crawford has the skill to do that.
Let's go.
I know anything can happen in boxing, but Amir Khan don't beat Terrence Crawford. Period.
Oh my God. Okay, ESPN. I float with that. Oh, that's my dude Don. Shout out to Don.
He better not think that he got this fight in the bag.
Donna OG. That's my guy. Countdown to Crawford. Okay, ESPN.
And that will be April 20th.
See.
ESPN pay-per-view, pound for pound champ.
I see. ESPN, I wish you did the promotion a little bit sooner, but that was dope. You know, that actually got me kind of hyped for the fight. Khan, he brought up a point, and that's why I always told you this is a good fight. I don't have a problem with it. All the other guys are locked up on PBC. You know, Danny Garcia's, Sean Porter had you guys. Garcia's fighting Granados next month on the same date, coincidentally. Keith was coming back from a 2-year layout. You knew he wasn't fighting Crawford. Spence already had Mikey Garcia wrapped up, you know. So I don't have a problem with this fight. You know, I told you that from the jump. You know, I've seen Khan work out, you know, been in Virgil Hunter's gym and watched him. He was working out.
At one point considered a real opponent for maybe Pacquiao or maybe Mayweather, has come up just short when he's fought at the very top, but also has significant wins
outboxing Zab Judah and Paulie Malignaggi when they were still in their primes, and this is what he said about Terrence Crawford. Look at my resume. Look at the people I've beaten. My resume is a lot better than Terrence Crawford's. I've fought better opponents, beaten better opponents. Okay, fine, he's unbeaten. But I'm sure I would be unbeaten if I fought all the guys that he did. Well, joining us live now, the aforementioned Terrence Crawford. And Terrence, that's not true he'd be unbeaten, because in fact, you have fought one of the guys.
They using my talking points.
Greatest Prescott. What do you think of Terrence Crawford's
Max just used my talking point.
Well, you know, I think he's just blowing smoke to try to hype himself up. Like you said, we have a mutual opponent that we both have faced it, and he knocked Amir Khan out, you know, so he wouldn't be undefeated if he fought everybody that I fought.
But he's really saying, look, and he has said this literally, don't overlook me. Are you overlooking him with all this talk about you versus the other welterweights?
Never. That's not my MO. I never overlooked anybody, you know, so that wouldn't be anything to say.
Terrence, we've seen you with a real mean streak that has carried over till after the fight, where you still had something to say about your opponent after you've beaten them up. Do you feel Amir Khan has crossed some kind of respect line outside of the kind of the normal promotional bounds of a fight? Or do you just see him as another opponent? In other words, do you have it out for this guy?
Well, I have it out for everybody. You know, Amir Khan is in the way of what I'm trying to accomplish. And I can't let him put a roadblock in the middle of me accomplishing what I really want to accomplish in the welterweight division that's becoming undisputed.
All right, since you brought it up, but to tell you the truth, even if you didn't, Errol Spence is the other guy. When people survey the landscape, they go, him. He's special. Crawford's special. Spence is special. He just beat Mikey Garcia. Did you see the fight? What did you think?
Well, you know, he did what he had to do. He was very sharp. He boxed real well, and he got the victory.
Terrence, thank you very much for joining us. We got a lot of show yet to come, so we're going to move on. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
There he is, the pound-for-pound champ.
That was kind of awkward ending. That was a real awkward ending. Like, it's like you asked him one thing about Spence. All right, man, we about to move on. You know when you run into someone at the grocery store, like someone you went to high school, you don't want to talk to them. Oh shit, I'm about to go to work. Oh, all right, man, I'll catch you later. Like, that was a weird way to end it. But anyway, listen, I'm a boxing fan. Of course I want to see Crawford. Of course I want to see Crawford. Damn ego, that's a great mic you got. Man, I hope you like what the words that are floating into the mic too, man. That was a weird interview. You know, I told you, new media, we coming. I'm so frustrated. All of y'all, I told y'all new media was coming. The Holy Trinity and the baptism, the manifestation have begun. But a little bit weird on the interview. You know, it looked like there was a delay in Crawford's headset. But whatever. Anyway, the Khan pro, that was cool. You know, Crawford Khan promo. I just wish they would promote it a little bit sooner. You know, like I'm telling y'all more detail than ESPN, and they got the budget. That's what I'm saying. ESPN, I'm telling you, in America, they sleeping on a gold mine. You know, cash me out. You know, give me backstage access. Fly me out to, you know, Colorado and different places and stuff. I'll boost up your fight, you know, and it wouldn't even cost them, but whatever. But I'm the one to tell, you know, hyping up the fights better than some of the promoters. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, hey, Amir Khan, just so you know, he's sparring with Devin Haney. It's going to be a good fight, you know. And the other thing is the credibility. You know, people come to my channel because hopefully they like it. You know, a couple of people come to hate and stuff. But anyway, like my dude Dion is saying, he's saying that Mean Machine didn't win versus Ray Robinson. So that's not, if he's coming off a controversial draw, it's not, that doesn't, who wants to see the Crawford fight? If Crawford gets past Khan, who wants to see that? That's what I'm saying. Top Rank, they don't have the bodies, the warm bodies to feed Crawford. PBC has all the ingredients, and they have, you know, the lock and key on the welterweight division minus Crawford. So they're able to facilitate a lot of in-house shit, just like DAZN at middleweight. It's no different. Like, what are we talking about? Charlo is the guy at middleweight that's a beast, and DAZN ain't really fuck with him. Nobody, you know, we're not seeing a co-promoted Triple G versus Charlo, you know, Canelo versus Charlo, because that's what I'm saying. A lot of these companies, they'd rather do the in-house fight, easy to make, you know, more profit, don't have to split the pie. So I don't really buy, I buy that Crawford and Spence as fighters. I believe them. I believe they would fight each other. But the business and the powers that be and the networks, I don't buy like what Aram's saying. Like I said, even if you don't fight Spence, PBC still has better fights that I would like to see Crawford in. But Aram just keeps talking about Spence. So to me, that sounds like, when the fact that he's focused only on Spence, when there's other much better PBC fights in general, that leads me to believe that this is like a talking point that they want to sell. They want old media to pick up, you know, because I'd rather see, if Maidana comes back to 2 tune-ups, I'd rather see Crawford Maidana. You know, I'd rather see Berto versus Crawford, Porter versus Crawford. You know, Errol Spence versus Crawford is a beast fight. But even if you didn't make that, Keith Thurman versus Crawford, right? Mikey Garcia versus Crawford. Danny Garcia, if he beats Granados versus Crawford. These are all better fights, you know? So if, you know, we'll see. Top Rank, they don't have the stable at welterweight. They're going to have to budge. Because why would PBC budge when they have that much equity or whatever in the welterweight division? They have that much real estate. It's like you go to Vegas, right? They got other hotels, but the MGM owns probably the most of them. You know what I'm saying? So MGM, they got the MGM Park, they got T-Mobile Arena, they got the actual MGM, they got Mandalay Bay, like they got what is that called? It starts with a D. What's the hotel? Delano. I think that, yeah. That's all MGM shit. That's how PBC is. There's other hotels on the Strip that aren't MGM owned. I don't think Hard Rock is MGM owned, stuff like that. But they got Treasure Island. I think they own all that. That's how PBC is in the welterweight division. It's very simple business, people. And like I said, nobody's proving what I'm saying wrong, so Errol is aligned with the side that has the most work and reasonable fights, good fights, fights that are potentially blockbuster fights, like, you know, Pacquiao, or really good fights like Porter, Thurman, and Danny Garcia if he wins. So why would he not? Why would he, you know, if they play the waiting game, it's going to hurt Top Rank more than it's going to hurt PBC, because PBC has more, they have more bodies to run through, you know, like I know what I'm saying is true. Name 4 in-house fights that Terrence Crawford can fight without working with PBC that you want to see. Crawford's a beast, we know this. After Khan, let's say he knocks out Khan, name 4 in-house fights that are easy to make, companies that work with Top Rank from foreign lands, or, you know, in-house fights that can be easily made. See, Passive Student just said Mean Machine look hella basic. So, like, who that's what I'm saying. It's easy to see this. Like, I don't understand why people are like, he said none, exactly. But when it comes to Errol Spence, this off the top of my head, you could do Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. That is a big fight. You know, Errol Spence is like, first of all, Porter, in my opinion, no disrespect to Mikey, Porter ain't gonna go out like Mikey Garcia. He used to fight at 165. He's rugged, you know, he's gonna come in any type of way. He's athletic. He's not gonna we've never. Errol Spence is like, you know, I don't know. He's a real problem more than we thought. If he limits Porter to not throwing punches like he did Mikey, you know. So Mikey got in there and he felt what he was up against and realized quickly that, damn, he's better than I thought. His jab is better. He's blocking all the exits. And then, you know, kind of was in survival mode. We never really seen nobody do that to Sean Porter, even Kell Brook, like where he was just in total, like Kell Brook was controlling him with the jab, but he was still rugged and bleeding and still trying to come through, you know. So anyway, to me personally, stylistically, Porter versus Spence is going to be a better fight. And it's a welterweight, you know, who gave Keith Thurman a difficult fight, etc. Keith Thurman could fight Pacquiao. That's what they're talking about. The winner of that fight could fight the winner of Porter versus Spence. Let's say it's Spence, hypothetically. And then Keith Thurman. Spence and Keith Thurman. Who's not going to want to see that if Thurman fucking knocks out Pacquiao? If Pacquiao outboxes or knocks out Thurman and has him hurt, you know, then Pacquiao just beat Broner and Keith Thurman. Who's not going to want to see Spence for? That's what I'm saying. So they can do this. We still, Danny Garcia, he's still a player. Danny Garcia ain't, so far, his losses are respectable. Nobody knocked him down and knocked him out and shit. Motherfucker got a chin, right? So it's just, there's just more ways you could slice it up because they have more people. You know, period. Terrence Crawford is like this high, and then you can't think of anyone on top rank that's even close to fucking with him that he hasn't already fought and showed you that he could beat. Like Jose Benavidez, okay, I thought it was going to be a pretty good fight, but I was leaning towards Crawford. And I picked Crawford. He already beat him by stoppage. Jeff Horn, he's fighting at middleweight. He already beat him. Who wants to see that? You know what I'm saying? And the welterweight picture, there's not a bunch of guys from foreign lands that I can imagine people will even want to see Crawford fight. You know, like I can't think of somebody that's just out there that's not aligned with PBC in the welterweight division. You know, except Pretty Boy Kelly, maybe, you know. Lejarraga just lost. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was a ranked guy. No one's trying to see that. No one who wants to see David Avanesian versus who lost to Lamont Peterson versus that. You know, Crawford versus Collazo. They already rumored that fight and people got mad at it. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So, again, I'm not advocating for all these games and stuff, but it's just the politics and the powers that be. You know, everyone's jockeying for position. Everyone wants to fight on their network, you know, etc. Crawford Spence is a great fight. I just don't see it happening straight away, you know, and it's for obvious reasons. And the final thing I'm going to say in closing, I'm about to watch some of these fights, is this. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, merely answer this question. That's all you got to do is answer this question. Knowing that PBC and Top Rank, they do their own business. You know, it's one company. In addition to Bob Arum taking shots in the media saying Al Heyman's a ghost and he's not even a real human and all this shit. He's a cancer of boxing. He's taking shots like that, you know, in the not too distant past. So those things don't really help mend bridges or, you know, ensure making fights, whatever. Cool. So that's one thing just to note. But beyond that is this. If y'all want this last point, can I get a hell yeah in the comment section? I promise you we working. Hell yeah in the comment section. I'm telling y'all boys, Al Heyman playing chess out here. And see, when I say the truth, what I see, what I feel, oh, you're dick right. All right, bro, whatever. And then when it comes true, these motherfuckers dry up and disappear and act like I didn't say this shit. Or get mad that I said I told you so when I did tell you so. It's hilarious. You know, it's like I can't win. And this is not, I keep stressing it. I'm not picking sides. Terrence Crawford's that dude. You know, I've covered several top ranked events. They're professional as fuck, you know. They got good food, you know, people, nice staff. So they, you know, I've always had good experience when I cover their fight. I'm just telling you the politics and leverage and power. Just read the Robert Greene book, 48 Laws of Power. This is that type of shit. And I'm telling y'all that. So That's that. But here's my point. There's inherent differences. Two different companies with two different agendas. PBC's on Fox. PBC's on Showtime, Premier Boxing Champions. They got all the welterweights. You know, the only one they don't have is Terrence Crawford, who re-upped with Top Rank. They're doing business with ESPN, ESPN Plus, right? Now Bob Arum is so demanding and so public with his efforts for Crawford versus Spence, which is a great fight. However, why is it Errol Spence or bust when you could still work with Al Heyman to make maybe not a fight like Crawford Spence, what we think that fight will be, but certainly a better fight than Mean Machine or, you know, Kerman Lejarraga or David Avanesian or something, which would be more considered an in-house fight. You know, guys that are probably going to get little pay, bullshit, you know what I'm saying, that no one's really checking for. Or Jose Benavidez rematch, you know, something like that, right? I still would rather see Crawford versus Mikey Garcia, who's been fighting on PBC. Danny Garcia, if he gets past Adrian Granados. Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, right? So that's one point. But here's another strong point that I haven't really said on this. You got to look at it. Now Bob is putting this bait out there like, oh, yeah, we really want the Spence fight, and if it doesn't happen, it's because of the Heyman PBC. They don't want it and cancer the boxing. All right, cool. How come Crawford never fought Pacquiao? When Pacquiao was with Top Rank? That's my question. Go. I want to hear this. You're stressing working with another promoter and, you know, making it like PBC is the missing link and they don't want to work with nobody. Why didn't Pacquiao? That would have been a great fight for Crawford. It definitely would have helped his resume. Definitely would have gave him like legacy points more so. So once again, that was an in-house fight. Why was the trigger not pulled on that? Can y'all answer that? HBO said they wanted it. Arum said he wanted it. So how is that? Like, you weren't able to sew that fight up for whatever reason. For whatever reason. But Top Rank at one point had Manny Pacquiao. Terrence Crawford had openly said he'll take the fight, and the fight never happened. So how are we stressing across the street style fight when they have a lot of business that they can conduct on their own side without even like having to split the money with you, helping ESPN? You know, they could keep growing and allow their guy, you know, the guy they're banking on or whatever, Spence, to keep getting bigger and bigger, collect belts, become the massive A-side to the point where there's no question about it. You know, you got to ask yourself, why? How come the Pacquiao fight never happened? That was an in-house fight at one point, and we never got to see it. You know, they gave it to Jeff Horn. They gave the fight to Jeff Horn. And then Pacquiao lost to Jeff Horn, and Crawford had to beat. So now Crawford don't get no points for beating Pacquiao because he's never fought him, you know. And they gave Jeff Horn. Now Jeff Horn, even though Crawford destroyed him, a fight that I went to, even though Crawford destroyed him, now Crawford's resume as it sits is, hey, I beat Jeff Horn. And people are like, oh, you just beat Jeff Horn. He sucked. But if Top Rank made that in-house fight with Pacquiao when they were both together, then guess what? If Crawford was able to do the same thing with Pacquiao and or beat him, now he has beaten a Hall of Famer. They said Crawford's name wasn't big enough. See? So, like I said, this is all business at the end of the day. Ryan Garcia's fight's on right now? All right, I'm about to go watch. I'll check in with y'all after these fights. Holla at the kid. But just something to think about. Like, there's a lot of business behind the scenes that people don't know. Like I said, that would have been a great fight. You know, how come Pacquiao didn't fight Ruslan Provodnikov? I would have much rather see Ruslan Provodnikov versus Pacquiao because I heard about their sparring wars at Freddie Roach's. I heard they were legit. you know. And then Pacquiao at the time was fighting, you know, everyone but Brandon Rios coming off a loss to Mike Alvarado. He was coming out, you know, why didn't you fight Mike Alvarado, the guy who won the rematch? You know, he was fighting Chris Algieri. I would have rather see Ruslan Provodnikov because at least he has a puncher's chance to hurt Pacquiao. You know, and Bob Arum and Top Rank, they didn't make those fights. So what are we talking about? You know, how come Lomachenko ain't fighting Teofimo? You get what I'm saying? So that's why I don't believe it, because like I said, Bob Arum has the opportunity and had opportunities to make several in-house fights that would have been great. So he's blaming a whole nother promoter with their whole other set of directives for that fight not happening next. Meanwhile, he's shunting and like shunning all of the other great fights that PBC and opponents that they have that Crawford still could fight, even outside of Errol Spence. You know, PBC, they want to do whatever they want to do with Errol Spence. They want him to collect belts, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. Still better fights for Crawford that if you work with PBC, you know. And they're shunning those fights. Oh, we just want Errol Spence. So it's either Errol Spence or a Mean Machine. Like, you know, that don't make sense. That don't make sense. And like I said, there's Teofimo or Lomachenko. I'll pay whoever needs to get paid for that fight to happen this year. You know, why didn't it happen? Teo told ESPN, who Top Rank works with, he told Max Kellerman, I'll fight him in April. You know, if it's up to me, we want the champions. I'm only going to be in this division for the rest of the year. So we want Lomachenko. He's one of the champions, right? That's what we want. So if you're not even making an in-house fight, you know, how can I really believe that, you know, you really want to work with these other promoters that happen to be your rival, that you happen to say bad things about? It just doesn't really make sense. But anyway, I'm going to check on Ryan Garcia. Holla at the